All right, Salts, we're heading back to school. It is time to discuss barrier trials, and it's probably more my caper than yours, if I say so myself.
Yeah.
But I want to talk more about 2-year-old trials to start off with, because they've got the first 2-year-old races of this year. We've got the Breeders, the Jim Crack in Sydney, race 1 at Flemington as well for the 2-year-olds. What do you look for in barrier trials, and then specifically 2-year-olds?
Firstly, the editors of the show are missing a trick here if they don't play Billy Madison back to school as the intro.
There you go, Carl.
Right.
Whip that up.
So,
yep.
But for 2-year-olds, the word precocious gets thrown around a lot. And the definition of precocious for
Where
those
do you
people
sit
out
on the
there.
precocious scale? Are you precocious?
Not anymore. Having developed certain abilities or inclinations at an earlier age than is usual or expected. So the precocious 2-year-olds are the ones that do well because they develop better than the other one. That's why the Golden Slipper winner hasn't won another race yet for quite some time, because they're very precocious. So with those 2-year-old trials, you're looking for professional horses.
Yes.
What I do like seeing in 2-year-old trials,
and this is a bit different to me. I think I know where you're going with
being
this.
put under a bit of pressure.
Yep.
I don't mind them being put under some pressure and responding to a bit of pressure, because then it prepares them for that pressure race day. So often the 2-year-olds that cuddled a lot in the trials, they're not let go, and you're not entirely sure how they'll respond.
Under the tank.
Yeah, under the race day pressure. So I don't mind seeing them put under a bit of pressure. But in terms of something being my jam, 2-year-old races where none of them have had a start and you're backing them off jump outs or trials, I just will not bet ever.
Yep, well, we see that a bit differently.
Yeah.
I like my 2-year-olds. I like my trials. Professionalism's huge for me.
Yep.
I actually don't factor in times much. I look at them as a secondary input in barrier trials, because style, pressure, and action are huge for me, especially in the 2-year-olds, how they balance up and how mature they are, how they leave the barriers, how they settle, their racing pattern, and all things like that. Action's massive for me, how well they cruise. I don't mind seeing, I prefer if they get a little niggle when they have a turn of foot, if they change legs in the straight and actually find again, stuff like that, little nuances of barrier trials.
Yeah.
Stable patterns are huge. I do a lot of Sydney trials. Stable patterns, Wallers always go back. If Waller suddenly jumps to the lead and leads and wins well, you prick your ears. Waterhouse will jump and run.
Dart up the inside, Waller.
Yes,
gotcha.
we talked about that.
Yep.
The mid-prep trials, Waller's a huge one as well. Yep. So that's really interesting. The 2-year-old races, obviously we had a set at Randwick for the 2-year-old trials for Sydney, and we've got 2, the Breeders' Plate and the Jim Crack, all debutants. Going to be interesting to see how they run and whatnot. There's a couple of horses that probably but funnily, all these horses, except for maybe 1 or 2, jumped, ran, led, and finished in the top 2.
Well, that's what I'd want to be looking for as well, is like early speed, put themselves in the race too.
They've all done it.
Yeah.
Because not much made ground. So there's one horse in the fillies that might be a bit of value, just Gisela in the Jim Crack, that she's drawn wide, but Pike stays, she'll get back. But she actually was one of few that actually made ground, was just given a little kick and sprinted.
Yeah.
But we could talk about trials for ages. I love the patterns.
Yeah, that sort of ethos or approach I have with the 2-year-old, not minding seeing them put under pressure.
Yep.
That would completely change if it's like a 4-year-old and a mid-prep trial.
You know what
I do not want to see them under any pressure whatsoever. I want to see them cruise around, have a nice action, find the line under zero riding.
One thing that
changes as to how old they are and where they are in their preparation.
Because you know their levels, and I like the patterns. You see horses trial time in, time out if they've approved. Like, I don't think Ellsberg had trialled as well this campaign as opposed to last campaign, and I was inclined to risk first up.
Yeah.
Luckily, he was a bit unlucky and probably wouldn't have won anyway, in my opinion, but I'm not sure how well he's going. And the barrier trials were the patterns, because you go back and look at he's trialled enormous last few preparations, but this time he hadn't. All things like that. Another one's, you go. You had something to say? No.
Oh, well, I was just going to say as well, like, we could go a long time. We could probably do another segment on this next week, because like, if it's a stayer resuming at 1,400 metres, I don't mind then being shown the Persuader and finding the line in a trial. So it really depends where they're at in their preparation. I love watching horses through the line in a trial. Macram a few weeks ago had a mid-prep trial after he pulled up with cardiac arrhythmia. It was an 800-metre jump out at Flemington. Through the line, the jockey rode him out for another 200 metres. So if you watch and pay attention, you can sort of see hey, there's some real intent here to get him ready for where he's going next.
I agree. Nothing worse than watching trials and not being able to see.
Oh, when they cut off past the post. Oh,
or like a horse is so far tailed off, they wait for it to finish.
Yeah, but
and then
before panning.
And then you can't pan.
Yeah.
Anyway, we could get lost. I actually do the form for trials as well because those with race fitness that come into it of a trial better than those without it. So I give a huge weight to those, the fresh horses without the race fitness that have trialled well against horses with race fitness and stuff like that. But
Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.